Good evening. It's my pleasure to welcome all of you to North Allegheny Senior High School for our junior orientation. My name is John Kreider. I have the privilege of serving the senior high school as the building principal. I'm joined here by a few of our colleagues. This evening we have Mrs. McEwen, who is one of the assistant principals, Mr. McGahee, who is another assistant principal, Mr. Jared Smith, who is one of our counselors. We have Rhonda Belowski. We have Michelle Butner, and we also have Kevin Thompson, each of those serving as school counselors as well. So this evening we have a relatively brief program set up for you, about a half hour here in the auditorium, and then provide you with the opportunity to move throughout the building here this evening just to get familiar with your schedule, to understand the building layout. And the main purpose of this evening is to outline some of the services that we provide here, some of the opportunities for students to get engaged with, and then also just lay the framework for how we approach the school day and give you a very good understanding of what to expect on the first day of school the whole way through the end of the school year as well. So we'll go over a few things: the instructional day, the building floor plan. We'll talk about attendance, some graduation requirements, different services that come out of our school counseling office, and then talk about different types of resources, activities, clubs, and different things to get yourself involved with while you're here at NASH. So the first part, as far as the instructional day, with the layout, at the very beginning of the day, the buses start to roll in anywhere between 6:45 to 7:15 in that time frame. Bus schedules will be delivered to homes within the next week or so. If you haven't got them already, our transportation office will be mailing those out. Let you know where your bus stop is, what bus number you're riding, the time to expect that bus to get there. And then after buses pick up in the morning, buses deliver the students here to the building out in front of the building. So if you ride the bus to school, the bus will drop you off in the very front. As you walked in, you notice that's where our cafeteria is. And what our students do in the morning is they congregate in the cafeteria. They're able to visit their locker room. And junior locker room this year will be on this side over here. It's the B locker bank. So as you go out the back doors of the auditorium here, if you take a right, you'll see where the locker bank is. All your lockers will be there. They'll be there for your junior year, and then they'll also stay there for your senior year as well. So students who get dropped off by bus or come out front. Parents, if you drop off your son or daughter at school here, the drop-off is in the rear of the building. So as you come off of 19, you take the right into the campus, and you just stay to the right side of the building, and you move your way back behind the building. And then we have staff members there available also to greet the students in the morning as well. The nice thing about that entrance is as students come in, they walk right into the junior locker bank and are able to visit the locker and then come out into the cafeteria. During the morning exercises, we also serve the morning breakfast as well. So students are able to take advantage of breakfast time anywhere between 6:45 to 7:15. And then again, we open up the breakfast in the cafeteria during homeroom. So if your bus gets here a little bit later, around the 7:15 time, you also have the opportunity to get a good breakfast in before the start of the school day during homeroom period as well. And to that, all you need to do is tell your homeroom teacher, I'm going downstairs to the cafeteria to get some breakfast. And then all we ask, just for attendance purposes, is if you're going down to the cafeteria, you make a purchase, and then we count that as your attendance for being down there. So the cafeteria in the morning is not for socialization purposes. It's to eat and get your breakfast in, and we track that then through monitoring what is purchased through the day. Also, some students travel here by car. We're selling parking tickets here this evening, or parking permits as well this evening. If you want to pick up a parking permit, you can do that on the way out. And student parking lots are in the south part of the campus, down towards the stadium, and over towards the tennis courts as well. Students who drive to school or have friends that drive them to school then enter the building through the athletic entrance down on the southern end of the building. Then at 7:19, the morning bell rings. That's the bell that dismisses all the students from the cafeteria, and that's when we start to head upstairs or into other instructional areas to begin the school day. So school day officially starts then at 7:25. It's very important that all students are in their homeroom by 7:25. At that time, we begin with our first period. As first period comes to a close, we run into our homeroom period. So homeroom and first period are attached to each other. And as a part of the homeroom time, students are able to use that time to finish up any coursework that they need to finish up with. If they need to talk to any teachers, they can schedule time to go visit them in their classrooms to get some extra help. It's a short period of time. We also use that for morning announcements, and morning announcements then are also posted on our website as well for parents and students to have access to. We have a great program with NATV that broadcasts each of our morning announcements every day, and they put some pretty entertaining types of things on there as well. So homeroom it's a great opportunity to get some extra things done that you don't have time for during the regular school day. Each of our periods they're slightly different from NAI, but it has a very similar type of model as what you may have followed back in the middle schools. And that's where our lunch periods are broken up. So in your schedules, you'll see you have period 5-6, or period 6-7, or period 7-8. Those are the periods that are combined over lunch period. Lunches are 30 minutes. Passing time is 4 minutes between our class periods. And that gives everybody adequate time to move throughout the building. But in a large building, it gets congested. So coming here to orientation helps out quite a bit when you go into the building and understand the floor plan and the way things are laid out. So most of you should have access to your schedules, and you're able to access those online using Tyler. And with that, you should be able to see all of your classes, period 1, period 2, period 3, and then your lunches are thrown in there, either period 5, 7, or 9. Now, as you look at the room numbers, it's very important to understand the naming conventions that we have for each of our rooms. The room numbers, naturally, in any large building, the first number dictates what floor that you're on. So if you have a room that starts with the number 1, that means you're on the first floor. Number 2 means you're on the second floor, and 3 means you're on the third floor. Most of our art, family consumer science, tech ed, and music classes are on the first floor here, and they're located just beyond, to your left over here in this section of the building. So anything that begins with a 1 would be on the first floor, and then also phys ed and gym class are also first floor, and you'd report to the gymnasium. As you move upstairs, where we teach a lot of our core academics, the math, the science, the English, the social studies, those class numbers will begin with either a 2 or a 3. 2 is the second floor, 3 is the third. Then the second number really helps you navigate more specifically where you are in the building. So that second number, we name our hallways either with a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or a 6. Hallway 1 runs parallel to the outside driveway towards the front of the building. So if the second number that you read on your room number is a 1, it's the first hallway running this way. If it's a 2, it's the next hallway down, a 3, and then the fourth hallway is in the back of the building. Hallway 5 then runs perpendicular towards this end of the building, and hallway 6 is towards that end of the building, running perpendicular also. So the second number of your room number, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then hallway 5, and then hallway 6 on that end of the building. Really helps you get a good understanding of where you are in the building. And then that third number just kind of dictates where you are in that hallway. So if you can get into the right hallway, you're going to find your room pretty quickly. All the room numbers are labeled clearly up above each of the rooms. So today or this evening, take the opportunity to move through the building, find some of your classes, be familiar with our stairwells. We have 6 different stairwells, 4 of those located at each of the corners, and then 2 stairwells which are a little bit more narrow in the midway section of each of our hallways. So that will help you go through and navigate your schedule throughout the course of the school day. 2:15 is the closing time of the day. It's when students are dismissed. Many of our students stay around for extracurricular types of activities. They stay for clubs, sports, music activities, some different kind of things, stay around for some extra help with teachers. But many of our students then also board the buses. So at 2:15, first wave of buses leaves here around 2:20 from the front of the building. Second wave buses, just like in the past, we have a wave of buses that come up from NAI to pick students up here, and those buses leave around 2:35. Students who drive are able to report right to their vehicles out in the south part of the parking lot. If you do stay around after school, the school day does tend to be long. Many of our students do get involved with extracurricular types of activities. We have the Tiger Cafe that is also open after school hours. That opens at 2:15. So if you want to get a light snack, they have a lot of different kind of things in there, some warm food, some cold food, a lot of different variety of things that you can pick up before you head off to any type of extracurricular activities. And that works the same way as it would through the cafeteria. If you have your ID, you just punch in your ID, pay for the food. You can sit out in the cafeteria, spend some time with your friends before you move on to different types of practices or different types of events after school. Other main parts of the building here that are accessible as you came in through the main entrance. Our main office is right here in the center of the building. That's where my office is. That's also where the assistant principals and our school assistance coordinator, Mr. Jeff Longo, is also located in the main office as well. All of our attendance, a lot of our main type of business takes place out of the main office. Right behind the main office is the school counseling suite. That's where our school counselors are located, and our school counselors will talk a little bit about this evening about how to schedule an appointment and some different services that they provide outside of the counseling office. Next up is Keystone exams, which many of you have taken. Mrs. McEwen's going to walk you through the Keystone exams here and tell you a little bit about the expectations there. Mrs. McEwen.
Thanks. Good evening. So the Keystone exams is a requirement through the state of Pennsylvania, and here at North Allegheny, we do require that you show proficiency on the Keystone exams. If you did not show proficiency on the Keystone exams, you will be required to go into a practicum course your junior or senior year. So some of you may have seen on your schedules this year an online practicum if you did not score proficient or advanced on the Keystones. So if you have any questions about that, you can reach out to your school counselor or myself to find out what your score was or why you were put into a certain course. They are based on the different levels of where you scored in the basic area. So you may be in a face-to-face practicum, or you may be in an online practicum. So if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. Again, it is a North Allegheny graduation requirement that if you do not score proficiency, you do have to take the practicum course. Technology and resources, just a reminder, obviously bring your laptop to school the first day and make sure that it is charged. Make sure that you're checking the Tyler website. Great information and scheduling can be found on there. Go on the district website. If you go on our NASH website, you'll find a lot of useful information, including information about the Keystone exams, our student handbook, our counseling office. You can find a lot of information there. Family Connections website is a comprehensive career and college planning site. And the most important thing up here is to make sure that you sign up for our NASH Twitter account and follow our principal at NASH Principal. He does give a shout out to all of our students on their birthdays, as well as post important updates throughout the year. Mr. McGahey is going to talk about school attendance.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to NASH. This is a very exciting time, I think, in everybody's life that's sitting here in this room, because we're entering NASH. This is the last leg of our academic career here in the North Allegheny School District. And we as a staff are very certain that all of you are going to be very successful here at NASH. However, for you to be successful, you must attend. Student attendance is very important at this level, and I can't stress that enough. Last year, House Bill 138 was passed, and there are new state laws regarding attendance. What I can guarantee you is that your attendance here at NASH will be monitored more closely than any time in your academic career. Attendance is very important. And there are two different types of absences. There's an excused absence, or there's an unexcused absence. Our goal is for every single instance of absences or tardiness to be considered excused. That is the goal. So for any instance of absences or tardiness to be excused, a written note must come in from a parent within 3 days of your absence. That is very important. That is extremely important. So if you have any further questions about student attendance, please feel free to reach out to either myself or Mrs. McCune, and we'll answer your questions the best that we possibly can. Student services, there are a number of adults here in this building, in addition to teachers, and their sole purpose is to provide supports to students. And assistant principals, Mrs. McCune and myself, we are the students' point of contact for grades, behavior, and attendance. The school counselors, they are the students' point of contact for the college application process, scheduling, and grades and attendance. We also have other professionals in the building. We have a student assistance counselor, a school social worker, a school psychologist, and new to NASH this year is a school resource officer. we are going to have a McCandless policeman who is based in this building to help ensure the safety of all students and faculty members throughout the school day. If you look at how the assistant principals and school counselors are assigned to students, we are assigned by alphabet. So depending on what your last name is, if your last name ends with A through K, your assistant principal will be Mrs. McCune. If your last name begins with L through Z, you will be assigned to me. Also, you will be assigned a school counselor based on your last name. So of the 5 school counselors, look at what your last name begins with, and that is who you will be assigned throughout the year. So speaking of school counselors, I would like to introduce Mr. Thompson and Mrs. Belosky, who will speak to you about graduation requirements.
Thank you. So the graduation requirements here at North Allegheny, as you see on the screen, if you're a new student to NA, you've already probably had a meeting with your counselor, so we will review your transcript from your other school and make sure it aligns with the graduation requirements that we have up here. These requirements are also in the program of studies. The counselors will also be visiting, and we work in tandem with our English and our history department to make classroom visits. So your counselors will come in, we do presentations about what's going on throughout the course of the year, how you schedule appointments, again, with your counselor, information nights that we hold, which is college information night and financial aid nights. We have a college fair over at La Roche. We also get about 150 probably college reps that come here to NASH to meet with the students during their lunch visits. So the counselors are very busy in the beginning of the year to go in and certainly meet with the seniors about the college application process. But then we also fall in line to meet with all the juniors so they get that face-to-face opportunity to see us. Graduation requirements, every student has to be scheduled for at least 7 credits. You can schedule up to 8. You can't go over 8 in your academic year. For English, you have to have 4 credits in English, so those are set sequential English classes. So if you happen to be taking speech or poetry, those are not set as graduation requirements. Everyone must have a full year of an English course. For your 4 credits in social studies, what's great about the senior year, you have a lot of flexibility of courses that you can take, and that is another great opportunity here at NA, is that you can have almost 150 different course opportunities to take. So if you want to go into music, if you want to go into arts, if you want to go into business, there are a ton of different opportunities for you to explore so that as you get into your senior year, hopefully you'll find that little knack about what you want to do after high school. Math credits, you only need 3 credits for math, but I will say a large majority of our students end up taking a 4th year of a math, especially if you're going into like science, mathematics, engineering. So 3 credits though. Science, 3 credits in science. Again, most of the time coming into your junior year, you're going to end up completing that. But again, we have a large majority of our students that will take a 4th year of a science, again, depending on the major that they're looking at, but also to make sure that they're very strong in the applications for the colleges. You'll see that 1 credit of STEM is up there. STEM is an extra credit in science, technology, engineering, or mathematics. All the courses that are labeled in the program of studies have little asterisks next to them if it meets a STEM requirement. Again, a large majority of our kids don't really have to worry about the STEM because they're going to take a 4th year of math or science. But courses such as accounting can count, there's robotics, there's a lot of different opportunities to meet that STEM requirement. 2 credits in arts and humanities, and again, we're just trying to get you to explore opportunities that you find for your own strength. 2.5 credits in physical education and health. Most of our students take health in 9th grade. You also take phys ed, and then in 10th grade, we take phys ed. Even if you had advanced PE, which is a 1 credit course, you still have to continue to take PE up here at 11th and 12th grade. There is one difference coming to NASH, and that is we do have a swimming unit. I always like to say that we're not asking you to be Michael Phelps or anything, but we wanted you to get in the pool and learn different activities within that. And then overall, again, 4.5 credits of electives, again, exploring opportunities, whether that is you want to take more math, more sciences, business, arts. Like I said, there's a wide variety of courses that by the time you go to graduate, again, you have to have 24 credits. And my bet would be that about 85% or more of our students will easily exceed that 24 credits, so they'll have no problem meeting graduation requirements. I'm going to turn it over to Mrs. Belosky to talk a little bit about Naviance.
Thank you. Hopefully all of you were introduced to Navians at NAI through your counselors, but here at NASH we really do focus on the Navians program because it helps you seek out good careers, majors, and colleges that fit what you think you might want to do. If you don't know what you want to do, Navians is perfect for you because there are a lot of different inventories that you can take that can help you decide what career might fit what I like or my learning style. If I know what learning style I am, I can look to see what kind of careers people with my learning style like. Same with majors. Sometimes students say, well, I know I want to do this, but I really have no idea what to major in. Navians can also help you with that. As your school counselors, we will help you navigate through that. As I said, you hopefully have already been on Navians as NAI students, but parents, hopefully you know as well that you have access to your students' accounts. So if you think of a career that you think might be great for your student or a major or even some colleges, you have the opportunity to add those, just like the counselors can add as well as the students. It is web-based, as it says. They changed it this year so that you can access it on your phone as well as on a desktop. So we used to call it something else, but now it is Naviance Student. So just if we ever talk about Naviance Student, we're talking about your account. It is specific to North Allegheny. So when you log in, all of this information, I should note, is on our NASH school counseling site. So if you forget how to log in or you're not really sure where to go, if you look at the NASH school counseling site under Naviance, you will find all of the instructions to help you with that. Let me see. As juniors, we are going to encourage all of you to really start to think about what you want to do after high school. If it's not college, Naviance is still really great for you. It can help you find careers, trade schools, or even look at the military. As seniors, you will use Naviance to actually send your transcripts, your teacher's letters of recommendation, as well as your counselor's letters of recommendation. So it starts off as an exploration tool, and then in senior year, it's actually what you will use to get all of your school documents to your colleges. As Mr. Thompson mentioned, we will be coming into your classrooms in the fall to meet you, to talk with you, to introduce what Navians can do for you, as well as what the school counselors can do for you. If you need to see us before we get into your classroom, again, if you go to the NASH school counseling site, it will tell you how to schedule an appointment with the counselors. Each of us have an online calendar, and we just ask you to log in to our calendars, see when we have an available time slot that matches what you have available. We ask that you schedule with us during lunch, during homeroom, or during a study hall. Of course, if it's an emergency, please ask your teacher to see if they'll let you out of an academic class, but we really don't want to take you out of that academic learning time. Ooh, is that you? Okay. So just check the NASH School Counseling site. We have a ton of information there. We have all of our contact information, and if we can do anything, we're here to support you through these next 2 years. Thank you.
Thank you. And as Mrs. Bialski had mentioned there about the counseling website, the NASH website is also very informative as well as far as a good location to get information. The presentation tonight, as far as the slideshow, that is up there on the website and as one of the news items. Also, Mr. Thompson had mentioned some of the things like the college fair and principal coffees, counseling coffees, a lot of different types of times and events for different things. All of that information is also uploaded onto our school calendar. So many of you, 2 or 3 weeks ago, you got the school calendar in the mail rather. And when you look at that, in some cases, on some of the days, it's printed in like number 6 font because there's so many different things going on across the district. So a lot of those major pieces that have to do with NASH are also put then on our webpage. So at NASH, we also embrace an expect respect policy. And with that, we expect respect from all of our students. And as students and parents, you should also expect respect from all of us here at North Allegheny Senior High School. And part of that first one there is respecting school property. As many of you know, over the past couple years, the district has embraced a one-to-one technology initiative. All of our students are issued laptop computers. Those computers are very expensive. And when we release those out to students, we expect students to treat those with respect, to make sure that as you use those responsibly. And then when you turn them back in when you graduate as a senior, we expect them to still be in working condition. Recommend to all students and parents to go through and purchase the insurance policy on those, because different things do happen. It's a $35 policy that can help along the way. If something would happen to the device, it pays off in the long run. Also, in addition to that, there's many different types of property that we hand out. We hand out books, and for those of you with older brothers and sisters who may be off at post-secondary schools and colleges and universities, you'll start to find that books are very expensive. And the books that we issue out to students, many of those can run anywhere between $100 to $200 to $250 a book. So when we issue you textbooks, when we issue you lab equipment, when we issue different types of things in the classroom, treat those things with respect. Our taxpayers make sure that when we spend our money here, we spend it wisely. We want to make sure that the supplies that we buy last for many years to come. So as we issue that different types of school property, treat it with respect, as it's a great learning opportunity and a tool. And the second one up there is respecting learning, and that's why we're here. We're here to learn. And one of the major pieces that you control with that is you have control over your learning. You have control over the different type of courses that you start to select, the different types of way that you approach your learning. Respecting learning is making sure that as you approach your learning, you're doing your homework, you're coming to class on time, that you're prepared, that you're doing your work and you're not submitting someone else's work. So as you respect learning, you're making sure that you give your best effort to prepare yourself for success in a changing world. And our world that we live in it's a global economy, and I think we all recognize that. And it's a very large world, and it's not just necessarily confined here to Allegheny County or to Pennsylvania or across the United States. In a few years, as you start to grow and mature and you get out there, you're going to start to be competing with people from across the world. And there's many people across the world who want good jobs, and we want to make sure that as you exit North Allegheny, as you prepare for your career and your future, you want to make sure that you're prepared. You want to make sure that you can compete with the best that the world has to offer, not just what North Allegheny can offer, but you want to make sure you're prepared. Whatever field it is that you're going into, regardless of where that field is, whatever type of education it requires, you want to prepare yourself the best. So make sure that you take a look at our program of studies, start to consider the different types of coursework that's available to you, and start to enroll in those. Many of you have already enrolled for your junior classes, but as seniors then start to take a look at your career goals. As Mrs. Bialski had mentioned, we have our Navients with our career inventories. Start to take a look at what it is that you're interested in and take advantage of that program of studies. Review it as you start to schedule for your senior year so that you're prepared and ready to go for the next phase of your life. When we talk about respecting safety, Mr. McGahee mentioned we have a school resource officer here this year. The district has taken a great initiative in making sure that we respect safety. And we want to make sure that all students have access to the curriculum, that they can move through the building freely and safely and have access to different types of coursework that they're entitled to. So we respect safety, and we want to make sure in a large building that we have here with close to 1,400 students and 200 staff members, that as we move throughout the school day, we're doing it safely and securely. So we do have a school resource officer that helps out with that. We communicate regularly with local law enforcement to make sure that we have a good sense of and understanding of what's going on in the community to make sure that we have a safe school. Students contribute to making sure that we have a safe school. Our students are very respectful in the way of making sure that they report incidents that possibly are very suspicious. If you see things in the community or see things in the area that you know just aren't right, report it to an adult somewhere in the building. And what you'll find is that we take safety very serious, and that we will make actions on different types of reports that you make. When you see students in the building being treated unfairly, or when you see things not going right for someone else, respect safety, respect them, and step up and lend a hand to help them out. And that kind of leads into the next two, respecting yourself and respecting others. And as you respect yourself, you're the only person that really has control over who you are and what you become. It's what you do. It's who you hang out with. It's the words you use. It's how you present yourself. It's how you respect yourself, how you communicate with others. Take knowledge of that. What are you doing to your body? What kind of food do you put into it in the morning? How do you energize yourself? What kind of sleep are you getting? Are you putting good things or bad things in your body? Drugs and alcohol, you know, are the bad things. So think about some of the things, the way that you respect yourself, and make sure that you take care of yourself, because in the future, you have mom and dad, you have a lot of community people that have invested a lot of different things in you to make sure that you're a good person, but eventually it's just going to be you. So start developing good habits where you respect yourself so that you can become a very good citizen. And as you start to respect yourself, you also notice that you extend yourself and you respect others. The great thing about North Allegheny is the diversity that we have here. We have a lot of different cultures, a lot of different backgrounds. We have a lot of different people that as you look around, you can take advantage of. So start as you continue your academics here at North Allegheny. Extend yourself. Start to find out about other people. Ask some questions. Find out who they are. Relate with a new peer group, a new friendship group. Get to know people. And what you'll find here is that at NASH, it's a great community. It's a great family. As our graduates come back, they're very fortunate. They tell us all the time that how good of an experience they had at the senior high school. So take advantage of working with others, respecting others. And as you move through the building, I think you'll find this to be, it's a great place. That transition from NAI to NASH, it's a big transition. Naturally, some of you are a little nervous coming up to the senior high school, but I think what you'll find here is that we're a great community, we're a great family, and we care about every single person that's here. So as we approach this expect, respect policy, let it sink in. Think about how you approach your academics in your school day. And along with that is becoming an adult learner. So recognizing as far as that learning aspect of things, make sure you recognize your busy schedules. Many of you are involved in a lot of different things, clubs, activities, athletics, church organizations, a lot of different things that you get yourself involved with and sometimes can be quite stressful. So make sure you take care of yourself, but at the same time, start to plan out your day. Recognize how much schoolwork that you're going to have on a given school day or on a week, on a weekend. Set some time aside for social time. Set some time aside to do your studies. Set some time for proper sleep and everything that goes along with that. And become that adult learner. Make sure that you're motivated to do your best. And as you develop those habits, they'll certainly translate into being a successful person as you move throughout the course of your life. And the student life here is absolutely incredible. We have a lot of different clubs and activities that we get involved with here. If you go into our student handbook and if you also take a look at our webpage, you'll see that there's a lot of different clubs and activities to get involved with. Clubs and activities present a great opportunity for you to find a group of students who share a common interest with you. And it's also a great opportunity to start to network with some other students who you haven't met before. North Allegheny, it's a large school district. You're looking at a class size that's approaching 700 different students. So as you move through clubs and activities, it's a great time to network with other students with common interests. So take advantage of the different types of things that capture your interest. If it's athletics, if it's clubs, if it's computer club, if it's student council, different types of government, if it's our music program, whatever it is, get yourself involved. What we find is students who get themselves involved with clubs and activities and different types of school resources, they do better in school because they're more invested. They feel more sense of connection here to North Allegheny. So please, take a look through our clubs and activity listings, take a look at who those sponsors are, reach out to that teacher, and get yourself involved in clubs and activities. Also, dances and social events. We have several different dances throughout the course of the school year, different types of social events where we meet after school for ice creams and different things, put some chalk out on the pavement and put some positive messages out there. So get yourselves involved in those extracurricular things that can really start to make a difference. Our students also do a fantastic job at their philanthropy efforts and helping others by extending themselves, going out and raising money, doing good things for other people, visiting old folks' homes, singing carols during the holidays, a lot of different things that we do where our students are able to help others through some great types of activities. That pretty much brings us to the end of the presentation here. As I mentioned, we'd be relatively brief, about a half hour here, and I think we packed a lot into it. The presentation again is on the website. If you have any questions, we can answer those. If there's any questions you have that you think the large group could benefit from, we'll take those. And if you have just a personal question, we'll remain down here in front of the auditorium here for as long as you need us here to answer any individual questions that you have. Anything that you wanted to see covered that we didn't talk about that you think the whole group would benefit from? We don't have 5-minute. The only bells that we have for almost like warning bells are for phys ed, and those bells ring then down in the phys ed area, and they just give the indication then to the phys ed teachers to start wrapping things up and getting kids back into locker rooms to dress. but the passing time between classes is 4 minutes. And what you'll find in the very beginning of the school year is that as you navigate through the building, it may be a little bit of a struggle to get from one end of the building to the other, depending on where your courses are. But in many cases, you'll start to find some shortcuts in the building. You'll start to find that the 4 larger staircases, in most cases, are the easier ones to move through. The 2 center stairwells are a little bit tighter. They're pretty narrow, and the traffic moves slowly through there. But yeah, sometimes you have to hustle to get to class, but just be mindful. You'll be in good shape. Any other general questions? Yes, sir. No, unfortunately, locker assignments did not come out. We were hoping that they would. They will. I was told this afternoon around 3:30 that they will be available tomorrow. So I'm glad you mentioned that. So if you do notice that your locker number and combination populates tomorrow, feel free to stop up over the next week or so. Visit the junior locker bank, which is, like I mentioned, as you exit out here, take a right, you'll see the big yellow lockers over there. Feel free to come up and test out your locker and make sure that it works. I thought there was one more out there. Yes, sir. If your schedule's not yet on Tyler, please stop down here this evening, speak to one of our school counselors, and they'll make sure that you get things all set up and ready to go. By day one, we'll make sure everybody has a schedule and a place to be. That's important. Once again, thank you for coming out this evening. Hopefully you found everything to be beneficial. Please stop down if you have any individual questions, and have a great evening. See you first day.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Very good.